Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Objective Leaders portion of the show. And I'm Joe Mauricio. This afternoon, I have one very, very pleasant surprise for you guys. I want to introduce Mr. Attorney
Yes,
Arthur D. Sutton.
Sutton. That's right.
Sutton, running for the Cook County Judicial Circuit this coming election, which is March 17. Remember, March 17, and you are gonna punch
198.
198. Okay, what makes you different from other candidates? There are at least five or six candidates running for the same position, right?
That's right. I'm running for the Mary Ann Mason vacancy. And what makes me different than the other candidates? The compassion, the integrity, the patience, and the fairness and treatment for all people. I don't see enough in the 26 years I've been practicing law and as a criminal defense and civil defense attorney. I haven't seen enough compassion, patience, integrity, and fairness to all the people, and that's what separates me from them.
Well, how many? I guess about five or six people running.
It's a total of six people with me.
Oh, six people.
Yes,
And who is the front runner as you perceive it?
I perceive me as being the front runner.
And I have one big surprise for you. Uh, since you have two states legal experience, right? You went to school in Minnesota, worked in Minnesota,
Yes,
and then moved to Illinois, finish your schooling here in Illinois.
yeah. Well, actually, I went to Aurora University, which is in Aurora,
Uh-huh.
Illinois. I got my Bachelor of Arts degree in criminal justice there, and also went pursued a master's degree in public administration at Governor State University, which is also in
Yeah.
Illinois. Then I went to St. Paul, Minnesota, and got my
Oh,
Juris Doctor's degree.
oh,
Yes,
that's where you get your doctorate degree.
yes.
Well, compared to the other five people, your credential is very, very impressive.
Well, I've also worked inside the penitentiary, the prison, also in Joliet and Stateville. I worked as a correctional counselor inside. And then I was a parole agent on the streets of Chicago for many, many years. And then I was the warrant officer with the state's attorney's office and the prison review board. I was the person that gave the hearings to the parole violators. So that kind of experience gives me a heads up on the other candidates. Plus, I was the administrative law judge for DCFS. I,
Well, you not only you're an attorney, not only you're a judge, but you are also a musician,
that's right.
a coach,
Yes,
a, uh, uh, a singer,
yes,
and maybe one of these days you're a gospel singer mostly,
that's right.
and you belong to the Moody Bible.
I, I I don't belong there, but I attend and we fellowship together sometimes. You know, my group. I belong to the Acme Baptist Church
Acme,
on the south side of Chicago.
Matheson.
Uh,
Is it Matheson?
no, not in Madison. It's actually in Chicago,
Chicago.
where I serve as a deacon there. And yeah,
The reason why I took a liking on this judge is because I went to a university in the South, University of Oklahoma,
yeah,
and we passed his hometown of Yazoo,
yeah,
Mississippi,
that's right.
going to the Delta.
Yes,
Yeah, right.
that's right.
And that thing, and a lot of brothers living in the Yazoo area,
Yes,
and that's what my my liking to you, because I was also, but that's not what we are talking about. I was also a victim.
yes.
Okay, so how could you? Speaking of a victim, what can you do as a second chance candidate to other minority.
Well, Joe, here's what I stand for. Because of my humble background, I'm the youngest of 10, the first generation college student. Okay, I grew up in the Robert Taylor projects
Yes, yes.
in Chicago. Now, the reason why I feel a second chance, because coming up, you get so influenced, young people get influenced by their peers to get involved in things where they normally wouldn't be involved in it, and they end up getting charged just like everyone else. Uh, and so I think that under certain facts and circumstances, that especially our youth should have a second chance at rehabilitating themselves. In other words, I would hook up with, develop programs with faith-based organizations, churches and faith-based organizations in the community to develop programs where I can refer them to, so they can find out why they did their thing that they did and how did they get involved in it. Because a lot of times it's not their fault, peer pressure.
Right, peer pressure.
Yes.
Yes, and I agree with that. And I'm thinking, with the legalization of marijuana, how many people are still in jail because of marijuana?
Well, they have released over 100 just recently. Exactly how many are in jail now, there's much less than there were. Because a lot of people was in jail for just small amounts, what I call users amounts. One stick of marijuana, or the police would pull them over and they see a little bit on the floor, and they would arrest them and put them in jail for that. And they wouldn't have the bond money to even bail out. And that's how they end up being sitting up in the county jail for so long for just little amounts of marijuana. So Kim Fox, and I would say that about her, she did a good job with that.
And is that thing still going on? I mean, they're still putting kids to jail for possession.
Well, they're not. It's not as bad as it was. Now they've changed the laws just a little bit. What they call users amounts.
Yes.
Like one stick of marijuana, or what they call in the hood they call it a joint. They won't. They'll dismiss that. They won't prosecute out for that.
That's good, but
Yeah.
what something else is replacing marijuana as a drug, opioid.
Yes.
Any kids going to jail for that?
Well, yes, it is a going epidemic that's going on with the opioids. It's a problem that has been growing in our communities. So, me as a judge, if I see those kind of cases come before me, instead of locking them up, Joe, I want to get them the help that they need.
Correct, correct.
Get them the help. That way,
You're truly a second chance, Judge.
second chance.
And with that, second chance. But I agree with you that the kids, well, not only the kids, but there are some adults that made mistakes.
That's true.
And again, sometimes they're under the influence of something else, any
That's right.
substance, and they are out of control. And those are the people that deserve the second chance.
And I will say that, Joe, that sometimes that second chance doesn't necessarily apply to everything in every situation.
Correct.
Okay, some situations, it does not require a second chance, in my opinion. For instance, I'll give you a for instance. I think that any time anyone beats or robs a senior, I don't think, that will deserve a second chance. I don't think that no senior should be afraid to walk on the street and to come home in the evenings and have to be worried about getting robbed and beat up and all that. So I have a certain passion for seniors.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I have some experience. The other day, we would like to pay a bill to our, pay the credit card bills, and my God, the the people on the other side of the phone are gonna ask you for a lot of questions regarding your identity. But I think as a senior, I'm a little confused. I got senior moment sometimes, and when they ask me for my passwords, how do I know that right now? I think it's somebody like you could help the seniors, especially working with the banks, to be more senior friendly.
Yes.
And it's up to you to help us seniors,
Yeah.
the old people of Chicago.
When a case comes before me, I take in consideration. So when I say the second chance, it's only to the ones who deserve it. So it's on a facts, case by case basis.
Okay, my producer is giving me the signal that time is up. We've got 15 minutes, but before I go, I would like to say this: that Baya Times and CPRTV are endorsing the candidate, Democratic candidate Arthur Hutton.
Sutton.
We are endorsing you. So people who are watching this, the blacks, the Latino, the Asians, this is the guy for that position.
Yes,
Judge Arthur Sutton.
that's correct.
198.
198. Make certain when you go to the polls, either on March 17th or if you're an early voter on March the 2nd, make sure you punch
198.
Don't make a mistake. Punch
198. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Judge.
for having me.
Again, this is Joe Mauricio saying, I hope you enjoyed my interview with the judge. And don't forget, 198 on March 17. 198. Okay? 198
That's right.
for Judge Sutton.
Arthur D. Sutton.